Hey, programmers! What is going on? I'm the Savage Coder, and this is episode 27. This time, what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our products view from our MVC project, and we're going to start laying it out in React. And if we have time, we will hook up some calls out to our API. And if not, we'll push those off to the next episode. I don't know how far we'll get, but maybe we get lucky. So one thing that I did want to show is that in this episode, I'm going to start using the GitHub Copilot. I was accepted into the preview, into the beta program. And this is an AI that helps you code. It tries to guess what it is you're doing, and it helps you write code. So really, really cool. I've been using it for a little while now, and I decided to bring it into this channel. If it's something you want to sign up for, you can just Google or go to copilot.github.com, and you will be able to do it too. So without further delay, let's jump in. In the last episode, what we did was we brought in some of our React router prowess, and we hooked up our links for our menu system and the link in the footer, and we're now able to go between products and privacy. And if we add any other views, we'll be able to go back into the route section in our app TSX, and we can just add any new routes that map to new views. So let's take a look at our MVC project, and let's see what our products view looks like. So we have basically this products index.cshtml, and this is kind of the guts of the page. So it looks like we have an H1 up here that says Savage Cell with a horizontal rule, and we can see that in our MVC application. That's this title right here. I think I licked my lips on camera before. A little gross for a YouTube video, but you know, hey, we got to do what we got to do. You gotta keep with your hydration and your water, right? Or beer. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, back to business here. Our Savage Cell here is, if we get to the right screen here, is this H1. And then we have a horizontal rule, and then we have a div that sets up a grid that loops through with a for each of our products that we got back from the API. So we don't have these products yet from our API, but I think we can start to move this code over, and it looks like this div is code for one card. And that represents kind of one of these. So let's get that far. So I'm going to grab this outer div first, and the text center on it looks like it should be good to go. And so if I go into products TSX, right now we're just returning this div. So one thing I want to do is I don't want to have everything on this same line with this word return. So what we can do is we can add a paren, and then anything inside the parens is what we're going to return. So that way we don't need everything on the same line as the return. The paren says, yeah, this is good. Everything in here is part of what gets returned. So once we put this inside the parens, we no longer need the semicolon. That would go after the paren to kind of finish the return statement. So we no longer want this div products component, so I'm going to replace that. Oops, that's not right. Let me recopy. Where'd we go? Here we are. So let's recopy, and I don't know why that is so small. Let me make that larger again. Maybe that's easier to see now. So we will copy line 6 from our index CS HTML in the products view. And that's going to be our outermost div, even in our React. So I'm going to get rid of this whole line. And if I just backspace once and reclose, I've got an auto close HTML plugin here. If that didn't work for you, that automatically fills that in, then you can add an extension called, I think it's called auto close tag. That was it. I just saw it right there. This is the one I'm using. And so that will auto close those as you move through your lines. Now, if you notice, when I go in here and I type anything, this grayed out information is the AI trying to tell me, hey, is this what you need? Just go ahead and hit tab and I'll put it in for you. So that's not what I need. The next thing I need is this H1 and this HR, which I can copy and paste directly. Cool. Now, notice our class is getting underlined. We covered that a couple of videos ago in React. So I'm going to hit Control F for find, and then click this little down arrow, and we're going to change class equals to class name equals, and make sure your N is capitalized there. And just click this replace all, or hit Control Alt Enter, and it will convert those over. So now if I hit save here and we go back to our React app, we get our heading, right? The same way we had it on the other page. Cool. So we can close that for now. We'll need that again in a minute. And let's keep going into our code here. So this is the container for all of the cards. So we definitely need that next. So that looks like it went after, let's double check, but after the HR is this next line. So let's make sure we put it after our HR, but inside that outermost div. And so class needs to become class name. Since it's just one, I'll do that. And then inside this guy is the whole for each with all the cards. So let's grab one card. I'm not going to copy this for each. I'm not going to copy the curly brace, but let's grab just the HTML and let's copy that. Now, not all this is going to work because our image source is going to live in a different spot. We have to move the images into the React project. They're not there right now. And then we also have some things like these HTML helpers that give us action links, which are kind of hrefs or links for our router in React. That's not going to work. This C# string format to format currency to turn our product price into actual, $, and 2 decimal points, or if we have a different culture set in another country, this could be euros, this could be pounds, it could be anything. So, and then of course this at product location is coming from the model as well. That's brought in up here, and that is not part of our React code either. So there's a lot of stuff in here that's not necessarily going to work, but overall the div is generally still going to have the right classes that we need. So there's a lot we can save. So inside here, I'm going to hit paste, and then I'm going to go to Control F and hit that little down arrow, and I'm going to replace all class equals with class names. And I'm going to hit save, even though it's not going to totally work here. Okay, so if we go back to our original terminal, and by the way, if you're not able to run this, if you're not able to run this in the terminal and you're still sitting at your prompt in your directory, it's just npm start to get that going. Probably should have said that up front, but I'm assuming that you know a little bit about React, at least from the episode 25 that shows you how to get it up and running. So I'll close that so we don't have two of those. So it is erroring out because it's saying there's unexpected curly braces in here, and that's because of all that extra stuff that we had in from MVC. Okay, so let's clean some of that up. This width of 18 rem, we're gonna have to add that back in as a class. I'm gonna take it out now, but let's not forget that the width of 18 rem needs to come back. So we'll come back to that guy. So that's one error. The IMG is a problem because IMG does not have a closing tag. So that's actually a bug in our MVC. So I'm going to go fix that. Because our image tag should be a self-closing. So I'll save that. And then let's do the same thing here. Okay. I'm also going to replace all double quotes with single quotes, because I prefer that. And so the source is probably not going to be correct, but let's not worry about the image for now. So let's just say that I have some image here, and we'll just call it img.png. We'll fix that after. And then this HTML action link to the product title. So I'm going to get rid of everything in here that is not part of this H5. So now we've just got an H5 with a class name, and we'll just put product title here, and we'll replace that. And then we'll just put product price, or let's just make it look like a price for now. We'll put I'll put $, I don't know, 10.00. You can put whatever makes sense to you in whatever culture you're using, in your local culture. And then for the location, we had a zip code before, so I'll just put some 5s in there. All right. And image is complaining, says you don't need to use the words image or picture in the alt prop. So, okay, I can take out the word picture in there to make it happy. And let's save that. And now I'm going to refresh. So we kind of got our card here, right? I don't know why it says purse. Let's look, is that hard-coded? It is. That's the image. So we'll just say that that's a thing. Just so that's the image, and it's broken right now, but that's okay. We don't have our images in. Here's the title and the currency and how much it costs and where the zip code where this product is available to buy. So one thing I noticed is this thing is way too wide, and it's way too wide. Remember, we deleted that 18 rem thing. So let's go back here, and inside where we remove that, which was in this div here, I'm going to just add another class, a CSS class called card with normal. And let's go create that. And so if I go into product CSS, card with normal, I'm going to say width is 18. And yep, the AI says, I know that's probably a rem, so I'll just hit tab and take that. But now if we reload, I don't know why my hot reload's not working, or why did I import this CSS into here? I did not. Okay, so let's import the CSS in, otherwise it's not going to be able to find this class in that other file. So I'm just going to import and it's going to be from here slash products dot, well, it's not SCSS, but I'll take the AI and just back out the CS. So now if I save that and go back here, now it looks more like the right card size. And so we can check if the rest of these kind of columns and stuff are working for us by just grabbing each card. So it was this div to this div. And if I just put in, let's say, 6 of them, so there's the first one, paste 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just pasted 6 of those in, and now we can come here and we can see that things are actually laying out rather nicely. So I think we're on the right track. So the next thing we're going to do is let's bring our images in. Normally with an image in React, we can just go in and up here we would just import our image and use that image as an object. In other words, we would say something like import guitar from, and then we would just give the path to, you know, whatever images slash, yeah, like that. And if there was an image here with, if there was an images folder with a guitar JPEG in it, then we could just use guitar in place of that image. I would just be able to do guitar like that. And the reason we can't do that this time is because our images are coming from the database and I don't know the name of them while I'm writing this code. They're going to change all the time, and depending on what we search for, they could be any image. So I can't really put every possibility up here. So another way to do that in the case of dynamic images like that is to go to this public folder, and I'm going to right click that and do new folder, and I'm just going to make an images folder. And then I'm going to reveal in File Explorer. And so that's going to open this guy up. There's my images folder I just created. I'm going to go in there. And then I'm going to go over to the images that are in my MVC assets images, and I'm going to open this folder in File Explorer. And so here's all my images. I have an old backup that I have to delete. So I'm going to copy my new images. Now, the images, if you have an older Git repo, if you pulled from an older episode, these images are named like 1, 2, 3, 4. So make sure you get the latest code from the Git repo for this episode. And if you don't know how to get the code for the episode, the link's in the description, and in the card above, you can watch a quick episode on how to get episode code. And so I'm just going to select everything except this backup folder, and I'm going to copy that. And then I'm going to go back to the other React images folder, and I'm going to paste those in. So now I have all these correct images in my images folder under public. You can see I can expand and they're actually there. So that's good stuff. So now that our images are in there, we should be able to match those up with the data we get back when we make a call to the API. So next thing I want to do here is I want to remove all of those cards, those 6 cards. So, 1, 2, there we go. And let's go until we have 1. Oop. And we want to leave our, okay. So I just Control Z'd until I had my 1 card back. I can verify that here. So the next thing we want to do is we want to be able to call our API so that we can get the list of cards. So we can do that, and we're going to basically get back an object that looks the same as the model from our MVC, right? This model.products. So if we look at our view models, products view model, go to view models, products view model. That holds a list of product. So in JavaScript or TypeScript, a list is really just an array. So we really have an array of product that we're going to get back from the API. And so we're going to have to deal with that in React on the TypeScript side as well. When we receive the data back, it's going to be an array of product. So we need to be able to consume that. And so I'm going to just go into this product, and this is what we get back from the database. So I'm going to copy that. Even though this is C# code, the data type and the name of the property are still going to be similar. They're not the same, but they're similar. So if I copy these and go back to my React code, I can right-click the source folder, make a new folder, and we're going to call it models. And then I'm going to right-click models, do a new file, and the file is going to be called product.ts. And now we have the ability to decide for ourselves whether our model is going to be an interface or a type. I'm going to use interface, but I'm not going to name this iProduct. There's some nuances within TypeScript that kind of make the I in interface kind of a little bit of a blurry line there, because you can actually create instances of things that are interfaces. And so a true interface, you can't do that to. So a lot of people have stopped using the I in TypeScript, but you can if you want to. All right, so I'm gonna just type export, which is basically like your public in C#, and then I'm gonna make an interface, and we're gonna call it product. And inside here, I'm going to, whoops. Okay. I'm gonna, what I actually want to build. I don't know what this AI is going to do with this, so that'll be interesting if it knows that this is what I want. Yeah, that's actually right. So I'm going to take ID number, and title is a string. So it looks like the AI is doing the work for me on this one, but I'll go over this anyway. So that's a really cool use of that AI, just kind of reading my C# and knowing that I want to turn it into a TypeScript interface. But basically, the data types in TypeScript, there is no int. So everything that's a number is number. And strings are strings, and price is also a number. Even though it's a decimal, it's still just a number. So the only real difference in the names here is the capitalization. The first letter is lowercase, just kind of by convention. And so there's our product interface. So if we have an array of these, we can loop through our UI code in our products view, and we can replace, all the things that we hard coded, like product title here will just be product dot title with a lowercase t. So that's the first step. The next step is to bring in some third-party module from NPM to make the calls to our API. Generally, when we make calls from C#, we can use HTTP client. Notice that I brought in Floral at that point because it was just easier for me. So the same way we can do that in C#, you can do that in TypeScript. So the two most common are Axios and Fetch. There are others, and you're welcome to replace my code with anything you want to try out. I'm going to use Axios just because it's something that I have worked with a little more extensively, and I'm more familiar with the ins and outs of it, and I find it pretty straightforward too. So let's go ahead and bring in Axios. So what we're going to do is go to our command prompt and we're going to type npm install axios -- save. Very cool. And so all that really did was it downloaded Axios into this node modules directory. And in our package.json, it added Axios with the latest version. Let's make our code a little bit more dynamic. And so what I want to do is I want to go inside the products function here, and I want to make a list of products, and I want to create a variable to hold that list of products. In React, when we want to use a variable, we want to know that when we change that variable, that React knows that we changed it. And so they call that reactive variables. They're kind of watched for changes. And if the variable changes, React can render that change to the web page. And so that's why we generally won't use variables that are just, let products equal something. Because if we change that, then the rendering might not be aware of that change. So let's create a state variable that React knows about and create a way to change that variable so that React knows that we changed it. So the way we do that is with a hook called useState. So I'm going to create a constant. It's going to be an object array. And inside here, I'm going to say I have a products list. So we'll call that products. And then there will be a method, and the AI here is working phenomenally, that we are going to have a method we can call to change the products list called setProducts. And so useState is something that React gives us that will allow us to use this functionality. Now, we have to import this from React, and so if I click on this and click on the little blue bulb here, we can add useState into our React import up here. And then we want to tell useState that this is so right now we've defaulted useState to an empty array. And so if we look at products, products is declared, it's never read, but it doesn't really know what type of constant this is, right? It's a constant of never because it's not being used. But if we go in here, we can actually use generics to tell useState, hey, this thing holds a product array. So our product needs to be imported. That's this product right here. So we have an export, and so we need to bring that in. And I'm not sure why it's not giving me any help here, but sometimes VS Code just does that. So I'm going to import product from, and now the AI sees that it's in models product, so I can grab that. And so let me explain two things here, the curly braces and the syntax of the path here. So the curly braces, the reason that some things are brought in without curly braces, like I would do import React without curly braces, is because of the way it's exported. So if we look at models product, you see this is just export interface product. And our products here is export default function products. If you have a default export, then when you use that, if I go here, defaults don't get curly braces. But I know just by looking at the React Router DOM line here, because these are in curly braces, I know these are just exports, but they're not the default export. So in here, I'm exporting the interface product, so no default means curly braces. So now that we have our products here, we can use it down here. And the whole path thing here with these .. / I'm inside this product folder. So if I go up one level, I would be in the views folder. If I go up one more level, so that this would put us in the views folder, and the next dot dot slash would go up one more level, which would put us in the source folder. And if I'm in the source folder and I look for models, I'll see it because it's a direct child. So it's just a way to move up and down the tree for the path so that you can find these folders. Okay. So now, if I look at products, notice product, it knows now is an array of product. It's not that never anymore. So what I can do is I can default this product to some test array, right? Like I can go outside of my function here and I can say const products list, which is an array of product, right? And now I can do ID1, product 1, and the AI is what's helping me here. So it put in some lorem ipsum. It actually gave me an image. We'll try that. I don't know. And let's do one more. So it knows it's ID2. Very cool. Got some more lorem ipsum. All right. So I got 2 products in. So for some reason, it had put name. So it's not really following my product model because mine has a title and a description. So I guess I can make this the title. Property location is missing. So there might be times where actually data is missing here. So we can go into our interface for product and we can make all of these optional. So now it won't complain, but it does bring up the fact that we don't have a location. And I'm just going to make the location 55555. What's your problem? Number is not assignable to string. Did I make that a string? It is a string. Okay. Maybe. All right, so we'll just change that to a string and then location. We'll put all 6s. Is there too many there? I think so. All right. I think there's still too many. There we go. What do we have? One too many curly braces? La, 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 la. Oh boy. Oh, oops. Well, that's supposed to be an array. And then that would be like that. Okay. So now we got our products list. And so we can just kind of default for now our products to the products list. So when we initially get products, it'll be populated with this products list, and later we can just make this an empty array when we actually get data back from the API. All right, so last thing we're going to do here is we're going to loop through these products that are in this products and print out a card for each one of them. So our card is kind of here to here, if you remember. So we want to just loop through our products and print one of these out for each one. And I know the AI is going to jump in and write this for me, so I don't even have to really write it, but we're gonna see what it gives. Yeah, there we go. And so we're gonna do a products.map, and we're gonna return this div. I think it's gotta be, yeah. So let's see. We open our paren, our curly brace. That's fine. This needs to be a curly brace, I think. And then we can return blah, 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 and end that. That's for the return. So yeah. All right, we're good here. So sometimes that AI causes you to go into debug mode because the code's right, but sometimes it gets the braces and stuff a little wrong. So let's take a look at what's happening here. So we have our products right now is populated with this hard-coded list. There's 2 products in here. And so map is like a for each that returns something for each iteration. And each iteration is going to have a product. It's like saying for each product in products. And the data type of the products is our product model. That's what this is. So the colon is just your data type. And so this anonymous function, the arrow function, gets called, and each iteration here will return a card. And that's all it's doing. So right now, because everything in our card is hard-coded, we should see 2 cards on the web page. And we do. So if we grab our product, we can actually replace things like the product title here. We can put some curly braces in here telling React, hey, this is TypeScript code in here. This is no longer just, JSX/HTML language. So I can just say now the product.title, and you notice I get IntelliSense on that. And so if I save that and go back to the page, it's actually pulling product 1 and product 2 from our data at the top. Product 1, product 2. So all of these are going to be given to us. So we can replace the $10, put it in curly braces, and just say this is the product.price. And this is the location. So we can do that as product.location, right? And so if we look at that so far, looking better. And then the image, I don't know what this is going to do. This could be interesting. The source, I'm going to get rid of these quotes and put curly braces, and we're going to try product.image. And when I save that, hey, look at that. It brought in an image. Kind of good. This is not currency yet, though. So if we do a quick search, I know the answer to this, but just this is how I would find this if I didn't. I would look up in TypeScript, how do we format currency? And so, blah, 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 blah. It looks like 2,200 people said you use this international.number format. And so you can make your own formatter like that. And we'll close it with that. And then formatter.format. So that seems like a pretty good way that I can do this. So I'm just going to copy that top part. And I'll put this above here. So formatter is using the international number format for English US, the currency and the style's currency, and the currency type is USD. It says these options are needed to round to whole numbers if that's what you want. This suffices for whole numbers, but will print 2500.10 as 2500.1. So none of those are what I want. And then I can just use this formatter in the price, and I can say formatter.format, and I can pass it product.price. Formatter is not undefined. It's a constant. Oh. Let's make that a constant. Oh, cool. We get a different image every time we refresh. Oh, that's a good one. All right, so that is a good stopping point. We will be back in the next episode where we will replace this hard-coded stuff with actual calls to the API and real data coming back from our API. Exciting stuff. I hope all this made sense. I know that formatter thing can be a little daunting at first, but it's really just copying and pasting. It's not anything that you're going to need to do anything more than configure. So hopefully you found this helpful and clear. If you did, please like and subscribe and hit that bell and tell your friends, and just practice this stuff constantly, and the more you do, the easier it becomes, and hopefully you're learning a lot, and I'm helping you become a real software developer addict. So I know I am, and I'm having a lot of fun doing these things, so I hope that comes through. So practice, practice, practice. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm always happy to help, and I will see you soon online.